One other thing about the midterms, you can bring a 3x5 index card, kind of a cheat sheet, but it's a sanctioned cheat sheet to the midterm. Just one 3x5 card you can write front and back. You can type it, handwrite it, I don't care. And the reason I do that is I know one of the reasons students hate history is there's all these details, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of a lot of the details. I try hard to fit the details of Texas history into a kind of a bigger story or a bigger narrative so it makes sense. But anyway, there's just going to be some details that you're going to find it hard to remember. So for the midterms, not for the quizzes, you're totally welcome to bring a 3x5 card in, just if there's some kind of basic fact that you can't remember. Okay, let's see here. One of the things I have a thing about scholastic dishonesty. If I see somebody cheating, which I have before, I will report you. There will be a disciplinary action. Um, Most of my students, I have to say, are great, really great. I've taught like something, I think maybe 15,000 students at UTSA. Isn't that incredible? Over time. And 99% of them are fantastic. But, there's always going to be somebody trying to get over on you. That's just kind of human nature. So I'll keep a close eye out, but just don't cheat. It's pretty obvious when you're cheating, and it'll just really it'll hurt your grade. Let me talk about now in this podcast, or this particular podcast, how I run the course. So you're always quizzed on the previous week's reading. So if you have the syllabus in front of you, look on September 4th. Well, it's such a weird semester because we didn't meet this week, we meet next week, and then we don't meet on Labor Day. It's just kind of crazy how herky-jerky this semester is, especially in a hybrid class like this. But like I say, not to worry. I'll make it work, and by October, this will all be a distant memory. We'll be in the rhythm of the class, and everything will be absolutely fine. But what I wanted to point out is that you're always tested on the previous week's reading. So look at week 4. So for quiz 2, you're going to be quizzed on the week 3 material. So I'm always quizzing you on the readings that I ask you to do the previous week. I can't quiz you on stuff that you haven't learned. So for instance, the quiz that I give on Monday on the syllabus, I'm quizzing you on this week's reading, and this week's reading is really easy. It's just the syllabus. So you're always quizzed on the previous week's reading. And it just works out that way. It may not make sense, but once we get into rhythm, and we're really not going to get into a good rhythm until September 11th, I think this will all make a lot more sense. Let's see, a couple other things. The first midterm is Monday, October 9th. So make note of that. There's something else I want you to make note of. On Tuesday, October 24th, that is the last day that you can drop an individual course via ASAP with a W. I think you all have 5 courses you can withdraw from, or 6 from the UT system. I can't remember right now. But if you're struggling in this course, or really in any other course, and you just don't think you can pass it, go ahead and withdraw from it. You lose the money. You won't get any money back for paying for the course. But I tell you, an F on a transcript lasts forever. And that's kind of a joke, this idea of the official transcript, but it is true. Transcripts do last forever. And if you're really struggling in a course, go ahead and just take the financial hit, take the W, because the W doesn't count against your GPA at all. And I'll tell you a personal story. I failed chemistry when I was a freshman in college, way back in the 70s. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get up. I was a first year. I was just too lazy and disorganized. I was away from home for the first time. Some of this might sound familiar to you. And I just crashed and burned in that course in just a horrible way. But I couldn't drop it actually because I was getting VA money. My father was a veteran and he passed away, and I was getting Veterans Administration money. And I couldn't drop the course because if I dropped below 12 hours, I lost that funding. So anyway, life worked out okay for me, obviously. I'm a professor and I'm teaching you guys. Of course, you may be wondering now, why is a guy that failed chemistry teaching me? I may have lost a lot of my credibility with you, but anyway, be that as it may. If you're not in that kind of a situation and you're really struggling in this course, or if you're struggling in any other course, consider taking that W. And again, note that October 24th is the last day that you can drop an individual class with a W. And by October 24th, you should have a pretty good sense of whether or not how you're doing in a class. Now, the other important date to remember is Monday, December 4th, and that's the last day you can drop all classes for a semester if you're having trouble. And that's actually a much more serious financial hit because you're dropping all the classes that you're taking. So anyway, keep an eye on those deadlines. If you're doing fine in the class, which most of you will be doing, it's not anything to be concerned about. But if you're struggling, be aware of these dates. I think UTSA is a big place, and there's not a lot of people. There are people that will help you, but you really have to seek them out. You have to be proactive. Remember, it's your college career. You're the one that has to take control of your college career. And you've got to be proactive, especially in a big place like UTSA, to make sure it works. So keep an eye on deadlines, such as the W deadline for withdrawal, if you're struggling in this course or any other course. I'm looking at the syllabus now, and I think that I covered most of the material that I wanted to cover. If I didn't, someone can email me and I can post another short podcast. But what I wanted to do just in today was just to kind of get you oriented. I'm sure there's always the hustle and the bustle of the first week. It's usually pretty exciting, I think. And then really on Monday, when I see you in person and I give you the first quiz, I'll start the actual teaching of Texas history part of the course. Like I say, we kind of lose Friday to a certain extent, but I'm pretty expert at catching up in such a way that you don't feel overwhelmed by the material. So remember, when you come into class on Monday, have a par score form and a pencil, and I'm going to quiz you over these podcasts. I'm going to quiz you over the syllabus. Super straightforward. If you're even halfway paying attention, you'll do just fine. And the point of this is just to get everybody kind of on the same page, so we don't have to waste time when we on further Mondays. If anybody has any questions, I'm really happy. I've had about 6 or 7 emails from students, which is great. Any other questions, any other concerns, please get in touch with me. If you have a concern, most likely another student has a concern. And if necessary, if I miss something, what I might do is just post another quick podcast just to make sure that I wasn't clear about something, just to clarify an issue. Otherwise, I'll see you on Monday at 1 on campus.